It's just Ashru.
So, all is well? Typically speaking, at this point, the world disintegrates. Then we find ourselves back in the outside world. Besides, these are my memories. There's nothing to fear. You're sure? Of course. It's almost over.
Hold on!
Knowing too much is always a death sentence.
Speak for yourself.
How repulsive.
Timed that pretty well, didn't I? It's okay. I'm just glad no one was hurt. Paimon noticed you doing something too, Dainsleif. Were you helping get them out?
Of course. When I asked Nefer to conduct this investigation, I was not naive to the dangers involved. I had a duty to ensure your safety.
Good to know your sense of justice is still intact after all these years.
I take that to mean that you saw the truth. That comes as a great relief.
I certainly did. And thanks to your help, I also managed to trap Rerir inside the chess set.
Whoa, really? How'd you manage that?
Well, to be honest, I sensed that something was wrong long before we made it to the temple. By using this fragment to probe into Rerir's past, well, the monster formerly known as Rerir, it seems I alerted him. I was tracking him, then he caught on and started tracking me too. Can't say I'm surprised.
But how did he track you through your thoughts alone? That shouldn't be possible.
Rerir was a secret agent who reported directly to the Vinster King. He is an expert at finding a trail and hunting down his pursuers.
No wonder.
He infiltrated the chess set, read my thoughts, and built a new virtual chess set inside of it. That's why we weren't able to leave at first.
Speaking of your chess set, it's quite a remarkable item. Would I be right in thinking you have some connection to King Deshret?
You overestimate me. I only have a connection with one of his underlings, the Ibis King. You all saw how this came to be. A long time ago, the Iab massacred my tribe, the Shimti, in our home village. A few years later, I enrolled in the academia, where some new information came to light. The Unut and the Iab fought a bitter battle over the rights to a well, all for the sake of a non-existent 50 million mora. The Iab ultimately won that confrontation, but their victory came at the cost of almost every warrior in the tribe. The final blow to the Eab came at the victory feast, when an Unut assassin beheaded their chief right before my eyes. The remaining Eab fled and have been scattered to the winds ever since. Having gotten my revenge, I returned to my hometown, where to my surprise, the nearby temple was still standing. There it was, seemingly immune to the relentless hostility of the desert, while my tribal home lay in ruins. As I stood there gazing at the temple, I noticed a cat just outside. This cat, as it turned out, was home to the spirit of the Ibis King. He led me to a gate deep inside the temple, and there he made a deal with me. This chess set is my gift from the Ibis King. The chessboard within is made to the same specifications as the one in the mausoleum of King Deshret, and represents his power of piercing analysis. With this chessboard in its container, I gained a certain ability to perceive hidden secrets. Now, every god plays favorites. Their hearts are as fickle as any human's, full of secrets, perversions, egotistical tendencies. But precious few gods are willing to admit this.
It is the same with all powerful forces, including fate itself. Their gaze falls preferentially upon a select few. As you rightly point out, this is an act of favoritism.
If you're alluding to the Abyss, then yes, I agree. Gather the others. It's time to share everything I've learned. Thank you all for being here. As promised, I did some further investigating into the Rerir of Solnari's background. I am pleased to report that the investigation has been most fruitful indeed. The Rerir of Solnari, real name Rerir, was once a Khanrian subject who served the Vinster King. I will now share the important details of his story. Please save any questions or comments for the end.
So that's why he's so obsessed with the moon.
A tragic tale, to be sure. But it does not excuse his many transgressions. No matter how much Rerir suffered in the past, the fact remains that he is what we know today as the Wild Hunt, wreaking havoc upon innocent lives in Notcry. He becomes more dangerous with each passing day. If left unchecked, it is simply a matter of time before all of Tevat suffers the consequences. This is a threat that the Knights of Favonius cannot ignore.
A question for Miss Columbina. Forgive me if this is presumptuous, but have you ever seen the spatial gateway that appeared in Rerir's memory?
Never. But I have heard stories of something called the Moon Gate, and this seems to fit the description.
Miss Lama, any thoughts on this?
In the lore of the Frost Moon Scions, the moon is believed to hold many secrets. Some sources speak of ancient knowledge, others of a gateway to the unknown. The term Moon Gate is one I have heard before, but as is the case with all of our legends, there are no records of any first-hand witnesses. we cannot know whether it truly exists.
Then back to Miss Columbina. As a moon goddess yourself, do you have some idea of where the moon gate leads to?
Not at this stage, sorry. I do hold the power of the frost moon, and my strength is recovering well. I can sense that the gate would open at my command, but...
But there's more to the power of the frost moon than that?
Yes. A moon goddess has the right to open the moon gate, since it is a path to the moon. But as Nefer mentioned, holding open a spatial gateway takes a huge amount of power. And right now, I need to conserve my energy to fight the Rerir of Solnari. I'm afraid this is one mystery we may have to leave unsolved for now.
I agree. Better to save your strength. But if you'll humor me for a moment, I have a bold conjecture of my own regarding the world beyond the gateway. I highly suspect that neither Tholindis nor Rerir made it through unscathed. The evidence pointing to this is the fact that the Rerir of Solnari exists in the form of countless fragments. With the abyssal power he wields, no ordinary foe can touch him, let alone tear him to shreds. And yet, the wild hunt proliferates wherever his scattered fragments lie, drawing hordes of monsters to many different locations across the land.
So your theory is that Rerir was physically torn to shreds by some powerful force? Hence, why the wild hunt is a distributed phenomenon, rather than a unified one?
Makes sense to me. Explains why the wild hunt is so pervasive, and why he's been trying to piece himself back together. He was whole to begin with, and he wants to be whole again.
Without the power of the Abyss on his side, he almost certainly would have perished the moment he was torn apart. But the Abyss, much like a curse, has kept him alive.
I could not agree more. The power of the Abyss is most surely a curse.
It is a compelling explanation, and one that accords with my present understanding of Abyss creatures. Whether the life form in question is primitive or advanced, if a curse has extended its lifespan unnaturally, it will continue to survive in spite of everything. This raises some interesting questions. I will run some experiments and see if there is any validity to my suspicions. That being said, regardless of whether my research bears fruit, I would like to thank Miss Nefer for conducting such a thorough investigation. Already, it has greatly enriched my understanding of the entity we face.
My pleasure, Mr. Albedo. I too hope that the information I have shared today proves useful as we look to formulate the next stage of our plan.
Hey! What is it, Dainsleif? You look really upset!
It's just... when I think of the man I once knew as Rerir, I struggle to understand why things had to turn out like this.
The two of you used to be friends, didn't you? I don't know if these words will bring any comfort, but my heart goes out to you.
Mine too. We can never know all the hows and whys of the way things are. The moon and stars are full of untold secrets and lies, and the skies are host to many more mysteries than these alone. Yet, none of that can begin to compare with the complexity of human life.
Those are the first comforting words I've heard in a long time. Thank you both.
Well, I think this is a good place to end today's meeting. I'm sure Nefer needs some time to recover. She's been through an awful lot today.
That's very thoughtful of you, Lama.
Of course.
Sounds good to me. Take some time to rest and digest before we reconvene to nail down a plan. Hey, Is this a bad time? Hope I didn't kill the conversation. Nice room. Oh, I'm not coming in, though.
Why not? It's just a hotel room.
If it's all the same, I'll just stay out here. I might not look the part, but I'm technically a knight. Barging into people's private quarters isn't the kind of thing we do. Anyway, Nefer went back to the curatorium to get some rest. But before she left, she shared some things with me that I thought you should be aware of. Firstly, although she managed to trap the Rerir of Solnari inside her chess set, there's no guarantee that the power of the Ibis King is any match for one of the 5 sinners. Their powers are beyond our comprehension. It's only a matter of time before he finds a way to break out. We have to come up with a plan and take care of him before that happens.
Honestly, Paimon figured that might be the case. So, how long have we got?
Well, I asked her that same question. She talked for a long time, but for the most part, it seemed like she was trying to convince me how precious her chess set is, and what a long and storied history it has. It felt like some kind of sales pitch, you know? The kind where you end up handing over Mora against your will? Anyway, after all that, she finally answered the question. 2 days, at most.
2 days? Holy moly! Can we even recruit enough help in that time?
That remains to be seen. Which brings me to the second issue. Dainsleif is obviously conflicted about this whole thing. But given how little time we have, there's no way we can pull this off without his help. You have some history with him, right? Do you think maybe you could talk to him for us? Great. I appreciate it. All right, on to item 3. So, Albedo, Durin, and I put our heads together and came up with a plan. Can't promise it's gonna work yet, but at least it's a start. We figured we'd bounce the idea off you first. We'll explore it further once everyone's recovered.
Oh, Paimon's dying to hear this.
All right, so here's what we're thinking. We felt a little uneasy about roping you into this. I mean, firstly, you're not locals, and secondly, none of us are your boss. You're well within your rights to refuse if you so choose.
Roping us in? Why would you even say that? We know the stakes here. It's all of us against the Rerir of Solnari, or none of us stand a chance.
I choose my words very intentionally, I'll have you know. I like to think there's an art to striking a down-to-earth tone even when the stakes are through the roof.
Sir Varka, I have a few thoughts about this plan.
I'm all ears.
I think we can be more flexible with how the roles are allocated. In my view, the most sensible lineup would be like this.
I see your point, yeah. But if that's how we're going to approach this, you'd better make sure you're ready. To be clear, I don't doubt your abilities. Far from it. I just want to make sure. Are you really willing to take all this on?
I want to do everything within my power. The Rerir of Solnari is a truly fearsome opponent, and if I do my part, it'll greatly reduce the risk for everyone else involved.
Well, that tracks with what I've heard. Jean's mentioned in her letters that you're so diligent it's almost abnormal. As in, most people weigh up the risks and rewards in situations like this. But you seem to just march towards danger without a moment's hesitation. Of course, everyone appreciates a fearless pioneer. But all that aside, I'm the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, and you're our honorary knight. I want to make sure your courage doesn't come at the expense of your safety.
Thank you, Sir Varka.
Well, I should be the one thanking you. It means a lot to have you on board. I'll give some serious thought to your suggestions.